Okay, what's going on, guys? Yeah, just a little history. Okay, let me see right quick. Let me get set up. Oh shit. Okay, entertainment, education. Okay, shut the fuck up. Ah, there we go. All right. Now, let's see. Oh, all right, got a like in the chat. Okay. Now we're gonna go with the ancient Kemetic or modern Egypt. They would say. Let's go here. This is what I'll be talking about. The ancient man and his civilization's prehistoric Egypt. Before beginning our history of Egypt, let us first dispel some popular white lies and of subterfuge concerning literature. Egyptians, Sumerians, and Mahino-Darians and Harappians and Cretans and Elamites and Nubians were literated in 3,000 years, 4,000 years, who knows how many thousands of years before the world ever heard of Greeks or Romans. There is an ample evidence of their literacy, yet there is not one single entry describing any of the people of their times, whether it be friends, foes, or invaders, or even more incredulous. Was it incredulously, something like that? Incredulously see or something like that. Okay, there is not one single entry describing invading whites in any of their literature. Contrast that with Greek and Roman writings, in which these newly literate people describe everything and everyone. Discrepancies is of our course not accidental, nor for lack of material. Hopefully, the white man has simply withheld this material, not destroyed it. Okay, another quotas. Let's see who's up in here. Oh, it's only one person. Okay, cool. Um, let's see what I'm talking about here. It's dry as a motherfucker. Something sweet. Yo. Oftentimes it seems to use here at Real History WW that the ignored Negro is a bigger problem than the albinos. Even worse, it seems that they are often too educated in their ignorance by Negro institutions. Decora. Why do only African Americans believe in the Black Egypt hip, hypotheses? Is this whole world racist, or it's just wrong? That's a question I will not answer. Throughout the pages, we rail against lies of, they say, the albinos or the whites. They mean as related to history and race. We offer proof of our claims and hold the shame albinos into better behavior. But alas, it has all been for naught. Albinos haven't gotten better. They have gotten even worse. Note these latest examples. Yeah, they gotten worse. This is the authentic face of King Tut found in his tomb, right? That's what they show right here. This is a forensic mock-up of King Tut created by a French artist named Elizabeth Daines. This mock-up is a display of National Geographic many academic venues. Yeah, that's how they look at King Tut, but he really did not look like that. That's what they're saying, so many words. So, yeah, in her piece, they talking about this woman right here. We ain't gonna get into that, but you know what? I'm gonna put this in the link in the chat. Y'all can read it for yourselves. Um, I got something for y'all. I got a little gift. Black civilization. What's going on, Tampa? Yeah, I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna stick with Egypt for the moment, and Black civilizations. He's talking about these quotas ain't much against it. Albinos. Most African Americans go through consider cruel culture separation anxiety. I'm sure this is a proper definition. Yeah, they talking about things like that. Mediterraneans correctly. Yeah. Yeah, I won't talk about it here, man. I won't go in depth. This ain't gonna be long. I'll break this piece by piece, but she's the one be telling the lies about King Tut, things like that. Just look at the albinos are so desperate to get their lives out. With at least some support, they are now known, taking uneducated hacks and commissioning them to make forensic mock-ups of ancient blacks. And the albinos have their nerve to give them prizes as if they had done nothing, have done something worth like, when in all fact they have done what is great injury to the truth. Hopes of for brotherhood and understanding. Here's what it takes to do the actual real forensic mock-ups. Google search requirements to become forensic anthropologist. This is a career requirement, extensive education. You will need a bachelor's degree in anatomy, biology, chemistry, physiology, or anthropology, as well as a graduate degree in human biology or anthropology. Though a degree at the master levels may qualify you to begin your investigative career, most forensic anthropologists have PhD degrees. Now, here is more of Elizabeth Dane's lion handwork. This is our handwork talking about the Egyptians, the Magdalene girl, and then the Platitude girls. They talk about the forensics of the Egyptians like this, and they look like this, right? These are the mock-ups. So they're saying it's 21,000 years ago, and then they going with the 17,000 years ago, 12,000 years ago, and that's the thing. So the cover up. So why are we making so much of a fuss about a simple albino lie? Well, so many, one of so many, because it feeds into the overall albino lie methodology used to keep blacks ignorant and powerless. We have to say that albino media, academia, and institutions are part of the albino lie infrastructure. Here's a nice example of the albino newspapers promoting lies. Ancient Egyptians were more European than African. Groundbreaking DNA research on mummies reveals. See, it's all the bullshit articles that this site debunks a lot of stuff. I mean, I put it in the chat so y'all can read what I'm reading. Well, here are the ancient Europeans. I will talk about this on the 14th. I'll go in depth on the ancient Europeans. They got the clay structure, Sungay Man, Vladimir, Russia, 26,000 BCE. I talked about this on my pre-records, and I won't go in depth on that. That will be on the 14th. I won't get into that now. And here are the ancient Egyptians. Here we go. Amenhotep III, 9th king, 18th dynasty. Sahur II, king of the 5th dynasty. That's the pharaohs. Akhenaten, some people pronounce him Akhenaten, but it's Akhenaten. It's really pronounced Akhenaten, the 10th king of the 18th dynasty. He's Amenhotep IV. He's the father of King Tut. I think he has 2 wives. I think it's Nefertiti and another wife. He's got multiple wives, I remember. But there's a disease called Marfan syndrome named after him. He had a funny shaped body. He had flat feet, flat fingers, and things like that, and I think a hole in his chest or a funny bone in his body. But there's a disease named after him, and it traced back to his lineage, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if that's true or not, but I researched it years ago. There are 2 kinds of modern Egyptians: Anatolians, that means Turkey, Arabians, and Middle Eastern. Generally, the white and mulatto ones are Turks. Oscar Turks were Western Turkic people who spoke the Oscar language from common branch of the Turkic language family. In the 8th century, they formed a tribal confederation conventionally named the August Yakubu state in Central Asia. It's about the Turks and things like that. The other are the black ones. The albino media never show you. The modern Egyptians, that's what they look like. These are the modern Egyptians. That's the modern Egyptians, I believe. Modern Persians are Iranians. Some people call them Iranians. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. And they show you the pictures of the people and things like that. That's the current military Iranian or Iranian Marines. I didn't know they had a Marine. I forgot they do have a Marines, but I didn't think the Marines was that huge. Golly. Modern Arabs, you see them too. People, things like that. Nonsense of the white people are cold, adapted humans. One of albinos' most outrageous lies are white skinned because they are cold, adapted people who evolved light skin to better absorb sunlight for vitamin D synthesis. That is a ridiculous lie and is thoroughly a scientific debunked here. And they debunked that here. We'll go back to it. This dude talks about albinoism and things like that. Okay, I'll put this in the chat. I'm not going to read much of it. Y'all can read it yourselves. This is going to be something that we're going to cover and paste. We're going to go in for a minute. Okay. Let's see. What's going on? New. Salute. Egyptians, what's going on? Queen. Who else is here? Oh shit. Oh, what's going on, Mike? Oh, you say you're Greek? Okay. Probably have a Turkish background. I don't know. Shaka Soth, yeah. Stick around, man. Stick around. We got a little talk. I just put that a link. But yeah, we know what's what. And we're going to say, why do ancient statues, paintings of Black people often not look like Black people? Vanishing evidence of classical African civilizations, widespread damage to the temples. Images have allowed Egyptologists to argue from the sources as the temple evidence that ancient Egypt was multi-racial society, therefore belongs to the world's heritage, not necessarily to the African history. There are probably about 1 million tourists each year who visit Egypt, Nubia. They get totally false view of the identity of the builders of these great civilizations, largely because the evidence of the builders' Black origin is disappearing. This vanishing evidence has enabled dishonest Egyptologists and the tour guides to misrepresent the identity of the founders and the builders of the ancient Egypt by selectively pointing out the non-African images on the walls. Actually, the images which appear to look non-African have undergone a racial makeup over and looking nothing like they did originally. These images have been crudely recarved by European and Arab conspirators who worked hard to eliminate all traces of African facial features. Only through evasive first-hand research can demonstrate from surveying on the site typical evidence that the ancient Egypt was Black civilization. Altering of Black African facial features and the lightening of the skin colors and painted reliefs inside the tombs are central aspects of conspiracy to destroy the memory of the classical African civilizations. The two main conspirator groups carrying out these acts are European and American research teams, local government workers throughout Egypt and Nubia. The tomb's images have suffered different levels of decay and destruction. In places such as Giza, the tombs are close as there is a little left to see until Armenia and tomb carvings are in an advanced state of decay. Elab Cab, Aswan, many of the images have been systematically defaced. In Abinini Hassan, only 4 of the 39 tombs are open because of the rest are badly damaged. The only major location which has escaped serious tomb damage in Saqqara, but this may not remain true in the future because of the conspirators' works is not complete until they have destroyed or defaced all evidence of classical African civilizations. But the problem of deterioration of the King's Valley KV tombs have led to the growing international movement to build replica tombs and close to the original structures. The tomb replication project will likely be implemented in the future. Under this plan, the popular tombs which have suffered irreparable damage, such as the tomb of Tutankhamun or King Tut, will be permanently closed to the public. Once they are closed, the only persons who will have access to the original KV tombs will be the Egyptian government officials and workers, qualified researchers. The completion of this tomb replication projects will be the major step in future erasing the memory of Black Egypt. These replica tombs with the lightning colors and remade facial features with a graphical demonstrates that the evidence of the classical African civilizations is vanishing. This, of course, holds true of the Minoan and all the other Black civilizations. Yeah. See, white man came later from the caves and the hills, or albino mixing through the Black. So ain't that much of the white man. So everybody comes from melanin, but they show you the paintings and things like that. Okay, there's 3 female tomb, Nakhet. I would say like was it 18 dynasty, 1450 BCE. How much longer will they remain Black? Yeah, example of white man's handiwork. Yeah, we all grew up that actual tomb and things like that. It was all of color compared to racist nonsense. Yeah, we know. Ptolemy. Yes, it's controversial. Ramesses the second was a Caucasian with red hair. That's what they said materially. This is one of the still alive at the time of his death. Yeah, 95 years old. The only hair and all that. Yeah. He's supposedly mummies unwrapping and by the studies. His hair white, color was Henya. Many Egyptian pharaohs were Caucasian. That's what they say as proof of that. But pictures of mummies and like the one and left behind it. Okay. And all that. White Greeks and all that. Yeah. They came from admixture and whatever, invaders. Some were invaders. And who hasn't seen the Greek pharaoh or this Greek priest pass off the Egyptians? Okay, Ptolemy the First. Oh, wow. They show this statue. They said Ptolemy, Philopator, and Egyptians and all that. Yeah. One of Akhenaten's 6 daughters, Akhenaten's wife, Nefertiti. Ancient women, fabric wig, ancient wigs, and supposedly all Egyptians, the slave, shaved their heads, yet is supposed to mummy hair. Okay, and that's good. Of the faces which is undamaged, Maspio. And it says the following. Yes, a lot of mouthful to read. All white sons do not know how the shenanigans and critters in Egypt artifacts. Now, Gaston Masperio's reported such surprise as the real appearances of Tutmosis III at the time of his mummy's unwrapping. Tutmosis III and all this other stuff. Yeah, it talks about Ramesses II, Ramesses VI. Oh, man. Yeah, the following. I'm just going to show y'all the pictures. It's a lot to read. I'm going to read this piece right here. I'm checking my chat room, see what's going on here. Okay. Okay, what's going on, Red? Salute. Yeah. It's a big topic. Okay, people coming in here. Okay, the face undamaged, Masipio said the following. Happily, the face which has been plastered over which pitch at the time and Baldwin did not suffer at the time. This rough treatment appeared in act when protecting the mask was removed. Its appearance do not answer to our beauty, yet give him refined, intelligent features, but at a comparison with the mummy. Shows that the artists have idolized their model. The forehead is abnormally low, the eyes deeply sunk, and the jaw heavy, and the lip thick, and the cheekbones extremely prominent. But the whole recalling the physiognomy of Tutmos the second, though with a greater show of energy. Great question is: are we believed to have experienced Egyptologists like Massaperio actually believed the ancient Egyptians really looked like the doctored statues and paintings proved by the Turks of Egypt and Europeans? Note, the noses on the mummies like Ramesses II's supposed mummies appear prominent because they have been filled with seeds and animal bone to keep them erect. Wow. It's amazing. That's hard when you have ancient civilization, they turn into mummies. Egyptians want to be buried with gold, man. That's the only culture that's messed up, but we'll get into the rest of Egypt. This is prehistoric Egypt, so let's get used to it. Unrestored statue of Tutmos III as a young man. That's what they try to fix. Restored statue of Tutmos III as a young man. It's a lot. That's what he probably looked like. But the mummy stuff is kind of tricky. I would love to go to Egypt. If I had that passport, I would love to. The reason the world is fascinated by the genetics of King Tut and he alone, even though he was historically of no importance, is because King Tut is only verifiable real Egyptian pharaoh. He was found in his own tomb. It was open with the world media there to document the occasion, thereby affording a little opportunity for the liars that later swapped it with the fake Greek or Roman mummy. Yeah, that's what they did. Tut mummy head. How did the whites come up with this? Yeah, they try to do everything. The Tut funerary mask. Yeah, and this is a controversial subject. I tried to do the ones with the Egypt years ago. I said it's a lot of content on this. Which is the real King Tut? Obviously the black African of his mummy head and the golden funerary mask, which has covered his face when he was found. Yeah, that was him when he was young. Feel sorry. Rest in peace to King Tut, or the one created by the whites, or the right above. Yeah, and this is complicated right here. His DNA study. The mummy face is now put on display. It's a lot less idolized than the lustrous splendid golden mask. It is shriveled leather like this from this embalming process. However, it is a lot more human and human and exhibits one very human characteristics in particular. The mummified face revealed that was young king had a buck teeth and overbite, which was a characteristic of Tormosed royal line, to which Tutankhamun belong. The DNA study released in February 2010 claimed that Tutankhamun was weakened by congenital illness and died of complications from the broken leg aggravated by severe brain malaria. Wow, I don't know about that. That's deep. Genetic tests have provided evidence that Tutankhamun at least 4 other mummies from his family were infected with Plasmodium falciparum, a falciparum or something like that, and a parasite that causes an often deadly form of malaria. The team led by Zahi Hawass of the Supreme Council of the Antiquities in Cairo concluded that the king's many disorders probably weakened his immune system so that he could have died after the suffering of a sudden leg fracture, possibly induced by a fall, which became life-threatening when he got malaria. The study also revealed that Tutankhamun suffered from a cleft plate, Colliers disease, and clubfoot by Dr. Zahi Hawass and his team. Have now examined the remains of Tutankhamun and 10 other royal mummies from his family, 2 of which they have now confirmed using genetic fingerprinting. to be the young king grandmothers and most probably his father. They said there is no compelling evidence to suggest King Tutankhamun or indeed any of his royal ancestors had Marfan, okay, or indeed had Marfan syndrome. Okay, so let me read that again. This says no compelling evidence suggests that King Tut or indeed any of his royal ancestors had Marfan syndrome. That's why I used to read when I was younger. I thought his dad had Marfan syndrome, but they said there's no evidence of that. Okay, that's pretty interesting. See, I didn't go in depth in that at the time. Now I learned something about it now. You always learn something new about it. Oh, God. Yeah. Y'all got to stop with the bullshit. Distractions. Okay. Let me see right here. Okay. But what is missing above? His actual DNA is in haplogroup, Clade and Ali numbers. That was Wadi. In like the full contents of the Dead Sea Scrolls, the information would likely never be published. Whites have invested far too much in their false, made-up history to ever let the information be known. Yeah, they do that to every dark culture. Yeah, so they're saying he died with malaria, which is probably understandable because Egypt is extremely hot back in those days, the desert. In presenting our history, they say our history. I don't think we're Egyptians. We come from the Far East, but that's a whole nother subject on that. I ain't gonna explain it on the channel. But some people believe we're Egyptians. But you know, this is for the culture, we're gonna say, for the community. Our history in the world's first civilizations, we rely heavily on pictures, statues, reliefs that the ancients made in their own image to tell their stories. Viewing these images immediately become evident that the nose don't look like the black people's noses. That is because the white people responsible for restoring these artifacts to good condition for display routinely modify them to make them appear to be white people. In many cases, they don't even bother to change the noses simply because this is just because they broke them off. They talk about Napoleon's blast the Sphinx and things like that. Yeah, it's understandable because Napoleon was wild like that. I wouldn't be surprised. British museums disparities of ancient artifacts had come up with a truly novel explanation for defacing the black artifacts. British museums. Yeah, Salon Reed, Ramesses II. We're going to get examples one. We're going to read the examples. Dark screen. Facing the statue of Queen Tai. That's his other wife. Note the difference in nose. Or I forget who Queen Tai was wife of. Amenhotep III. My fault. That's his wife. That's Queen Tai. She didn't even last that long. I read some history about a side view of Queen Tai's bust, the two face marks, and the side nose. These people didn't even have enough respect to do a good job. Queen Tai. Damn. Stone bust of Queen Tai's at the Metropolitan Museum with the natural nose. Oh, wow. That's what she looked like. Wow. I can imagine the mummy. Wooden bust of Queen Tai with the residue of the original paint still visible. Note. The nose has been modified to appear to be that of a Caucasian. A tattooist sign the human nose is narrow west at the top of the gradual widens. This clumsy modification caused the nose to be northwest in the middle. Yeah, that's what they try to do. Damn. Example number 2, never completed, discarded head of Sonseret III. With his intact nose, they missed one. Sonseret, 5th king of the 12th dynasty. Yeah, he's Egyptian. Yeah. Some knows it's a possibility they had something to do with it, or, you know, these artifacts is old. Was the son of the prince Nefermate, son of King Nafu. He's believed to be the architect of the Great Pyramid of Giza, Egypt. Below is his uncle, King Khufu. King Khufu, the second king of the 4th dynasty. They got a lot of fucking dynasties. Egypt. Yeah, they got a lot of damn dynasties, I'll tell you that. This is Himenu's grandfather, King Senofru or Senefru, first king of the fourth dynasty. Wow, it's the kingdom. I don't know if that is still in the museum. The Stela King Senefru, first king, fourth dynasty, found near the Bent Pyramid in Dashur. Yeah, it's probably still out there. Damn, you probably can't go inside because they take it back. That dude was over. That's an overweight Egyptian. One of the most blatant examples of racist white hubris. White people had to unpulling the goal to put a face of a white man. Blah blah. Yeah, they showed you that. Pressed in the matter, whites will say, "Well, it's accidental, and they have access to these very same artifacts." Yeah, ample. Just another episode of White Means ongoing program, right? Yeah, I ain't gonna get into that. That's in Germany. You see that in Germany. They try to make a mockery of Egyptians. The foreigners and fakes. Show you the fakes a little bit. I ain't gonna read the description that much. Y'all already know. That's the old Egyptian stuff. One on the left, example, the ancient Egyptians who were the same color as their clothing. We all know they were the same color as their clothing because we can see the hem of their dresses. These necklaces are clearly visible. No one knows what happened to these people. They are now lost to history. He actually is one of the more dim-witted ways the whites and their mulatto conspirators used to suggest that there were white or light-skinned Egyptians. Yeah, I want to see what's going on in the chat. I want to see what's going on online right now. Let's see what's right now. What's going on, Rashawn? Let's keep it real. Yeah, I done went in. Oh, I got 8 likes off this shit. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, yeah, I know people's watching other people's stuff, so Beasley, Starboy, okay. Yeah, I got time. I got time today. I got time today, man. I know one dislike, but but that's okay. That's part of the territory. That's part of the territory. Let's see. Turks of the North African Midwest, together with white Europeans, both Europe and around the world, have done horribly destructive, disrespectful things to mankind's previous inheritance and the artifacts of ancient blacks. They were playing a meaningful part of mankind's formative years. Those involved now, but a resentful pig, together with false pride, compels with them try to force themselves in mankind's history where there really is none. Lost to them, accomplish it, blah. So the populations, I already put the links in the chat if y'all want to read this. Okay. You want to read the rest of it? Let me see in the chat that I put in. Yeah. Yeah, man. I know the beginnings of civilization in Egypt around 4,000 to 15,000 years ago. The rains started to diminish, and the Sahara, which has been a fertile land, started to dry up and was becoming a desert. Fleeing in the advanced desert, many of the people that were living in the area started to migrate closer to only dependable sources of fresh water. Nile River. Over the following thousands of years, the Sahara became a total desert, completely incapable of supporting human life, expected for the oasis. By then, the people of the area had already moved to the Nile River Valley, And it was here in the Nile Valley, whereas there's early human groups are forced to live closer and ever closer to each other. They start to cooperate with each other and to learn from each other. Over time, they begin to form the first pools of collective knowledge. As an example of a collective knowledge, no one person knows how to build a car by himself. It takes thousands of people, each pooling their individual knowledge and skills to build a car. With this collective knowledge, early man first learns how to make a better tools for fishing, hunting, and butchering his kill. In times, this knowledge would grow to the point where they can build the pyramids. Then the early forms of the farming began to appear at a few sites. There is evidence that the fishing was abandoned by some people, possibly because farm grains and barley, most likely together with the large herd of animals, that they still hunted to create a diet that was more than adequate for their needs. There can be no question as to the truthfulness of the saying, the necessity and the mother of invention. This is the very same scenario of the early man being forced to live together in the rivers, valleys because of the harsh conditions in the surrounding areas. It is played out again and again for each of the other following civilizations: the Tigris, the Euphrates River valleys in Sumer, the Indus River Valley in India, the Yellow River Valley in China. Yeah, this is going to be an impeccable stream. I'm talking about the prehistoric Egypt in the beginnings and Quadan culture. Okay, Quadan culture. Soon we began the first signs of the true culture emerging, such as the Quadan culture, 13,000, 9,000 BCE. These Quadan sites, which stretch from the second cataract of the Nile to the Tushka just above Aswan, actually have cemeteries and evidence of a ritual burial. It is also during this time that the true agricultural begins. Grinding stones and reaping blades have been found, and a great numbers are there. It is also about this time that they've learned to domesticated animals, but as is always the case with the man, there's always conflict and war. Statistical analysts of the main cemetery at Jebel Shahaba gives a figure of 40% of the people buried there died from wounds due to the thrown projectiles, spears, darts, and arrows. Now let's look at the ancient people in the terms of their culture phases. That to say that how men was thinking, living and working at a given times and given places. As always, these culture phases names are taken from the places where the evidence and artifacts were found. We never know what they call these places or themselves. Facts, because we don't know. And it's the Badari. We're going to go into detail. The Badari are believed to be the ancient ancestors of the pre-dynastic Egyptians. They live in Upper Egypt on the eastern bank of the Nile near the village of Badari, which is the South Assuit. Here archaeologists have found both series of settlement sites as well as various cemeteries. These people lived before 44,000 BCE, though they were a semi-nomadic people. They started to cultivate grain and domesticated animals. They had a series of small villages in a flat desert which borders the flood plain created by the Nile. Their burial grounds were found on the outskirts of their villages. They performed ritual sacrifice of the cattle and sheep. They give these animals ceremonial burial. And so okay, hold on for a minute, if you guys almost pause for a minute. Hold on. They burial. Okay. The graves of these people were simple. Dead were laid to rest on the left side of the facing of the west, and the fatal in a fetal position and wrapped in a matting. They were buried with 5 grave goods, such as beautiful ceramics, decorated plates, bowls, and dishes. Also, cosmetic utensils, which is including makeup, Pilates, ointment, spoons, decorative combs. Okay, decorative combs and bracelets, necklace, copper beads, and pins. They also usually have an ivory or clay female figure, which may have been a fertility doll or idol, placed in the grave with the deceased. This is all indicates a highly evolved funerary system. The dead were buried with their finest possessions for use in the next world. Unfortunately, many of these graves were robbed. They try to take that uh, possessions with them. You can't take stuff with you, like they said in the old saying. You can't take stuff with you. Amerindian people. Okay, fertility figure. This is what the type of people they are. Amerasian people. Succeeding Badari, the Amerindian Nakada, I think it's Nakoda people took over. They were only the most important prehistoric cultures in North Egypt and in their development, and can be traced to the founding of the Egyptian state. The Amerindian Nakoda, the first people, started as a parallel culture to the Badari, but eventually replaced it. These then were the people commonly thought of as the first true Egyptians, but about 4531 BCE. 4531 BCE. Okay. Like the Badari, they lived in the villages and cultivated the fertile Nile Valley. Each village had its own animal deity, which was identified on the clan's ensign. From this came the different Egyptian nomes district with their own local totems. Like the Badari, they lived in villages and cultivated in the fertile Nile Valley. Each village had its own animal deity. Oh, okay, my fault. I read that again. Okay, totems later. These totems would become the gods of the dynastic pantheon. As the artistic abilities of the people grew, they start making the pottery decorated with animals, and humans engage in human or worshiping. Females idols continues to appear, but now in a greater numbers and a wider variety. And now bearded and male figures also started to appear on the pendants and ivory sticks, and these seems to have a magical spiritual purpose. In the Amerindian graves to decrease were buried with the statuettes and to keep them company in the afterlife. These were the forerunners of the Ashhabadi figures, which are found in later Egyptian tombs. Along with these figures, the dead person was buried with food, weapons, amulets, ornaments, decorated vases, and pilates. Okay, this is the Badari period of ivory. MacGregor Man, one of the collection of the Rev. William MacGregor, is said to be found in the region of Nakoda. Dated in the period, authenticity of this sculpture has been questioned. Yeah, and that's the ancient peoples back then. And then you got the carved hippopotamus tooth, part of the other ivories found at the Hierakonpolis, Nikon, pre-dynastic of the first dynasty. Wow, that's what these people came. Yeah, this prehistoric people. Wow. Okay. Egyptian god Horus. Let me show you Horus. Wow, it's a lot. I might have to read this. I want to see what's in the chat. What's going on, y'all? Um, yeah, man. Yeah, we're gonna see this for a minute. We got something going on up in here. We want to see this for a minute. Give me a second, guys. I'm gonna check something out. And I'm gonna knock this loose, and I'm gonna keep reading because I want to see what's in the chat right now. Okay, yeah, appreciate it. Okay, so we'll see who's up in here. Let's go on, Third War. Salute. Okay. She said, look at the ears. I know, right? In the middle of the 4th millennium BCE, the Gerasian Nakoda II culture superseded the Nakoda I. They had by now mastered the art of agriculture and the use of artificial irrigation, canals, and dikes. With this and their domesticated animals, they no longer needed to hunt for their food. The people started to live in towns, not just villages. The Gerasian people continued to grow in artistic area, also creating new styles of pottery, more elegant artwork. Okay, metalworking increased. The Gerasian people made great use of copper knives. They also created their own cast metal implements and weapons. This is when it got dangerous. Okay. They also traded with far distant peoples and places such as Mesopotamia and Asia for copper, silver, lapis lazuli, lead, cylinder seals. Soon foreign influences brought in through their trading activities began to show in their style of dress, ornaments, various implements, radical changes in designs of knives, daggers and pottery were made by the Gerasians because of these influence, which were, of course, two-way. Burials. It was also at the times that they introduced the sun god Ra, later Horus, whose symbol was the falcon, the falcon symbol, incorrect. And we see the Egyptian god Horus represents the moon right here, the early depictions right here. This website's found by a Black scholar. He searched these artifacts and he has proof and facts over here. So don't get offended. This is his research. You can check it out. No rush. I'm taking my shoes off for a minute. It's been a long day. Whose symbol was the falcon and the love goddess of Hathor. Hathor is the bull. Hathor is the goddess of Hathor is the bull. Okay. Whose symbol was the cow, they said, but it's the bull, technically. There were also significant changes in their type of burial, whereas before the corpse was generally wrapped in some sort of covering, buried in a contracted position facing to the west. Now those are Gerasian graves showing no particular orientation at all, but the graves were now much more elaborate. Here is the evidence of an elite social class from grave goods and found. These more elaborate funerals have large rectangular graves with walls lined with either masonry or wood. There goes the word masonry. In the beginnings of class, Necanim, Hyrcanopolis, we see the beginnings of this class distinction. Here we find a large dynastic type buildings with new rituals, social structure. In the cult center of Horus, there is a place and a ritual precinct, which was made of timber and matting, but can only be theoretically reconstructed from the positions of the postholes. Postholes, and some of which were big enough for the entire tree trunks. The features of this complex can be compared with the buildings of Pharaoh Djor's pyramids complex, because it also has a large oval courtyard surrounded by various buildings This is clearly the forerunner to the royal ritual precincts of the early dynastic period. A note of terminology: Upper Egypt refers to southern Egypt, Lower Egypt refers to northern Egypt. These reasons of the apparent switch is that their reference was the Nile River, which runs to south to north. The word Pharaoh means great house. Let's read that again. The word Pharaoh means great house, in a reference to the kings and residents. That's what the Pharaoh means, great house. Like it says. And the actual name of country that we call Egypt is Kemet, they would say, which is the Kemetian language, means the black land. No doubt referring to the dark soil of the Nile River. The word Egypt is the Greek. It's the Greek. Okay. It's a Greek name for the country, and it's a reference to the mythical Greek hero Egyptus. The Kemetians called themselves simply the people. Okay. Well, Greek was a later language. That language was destroyed, and then the Arabs had to rewrite their language. That's a whole nother topic about the Greek language. I already know what happened to it originally. However, these things partly nonsensical. England originated called French because French is originating country. Okay, Semitic language. Okay, we ain't gonna read the rest of that. We just read what it means. Note of terminology, so we don't have to go into that. If you want to look at this, I'll post it again. I'll put it in the chat. Yeah, that's the prehistoric. I'll put it in the chat. Let me post this in the chat again. See if y'all people get into it. What's going on here? What's going on, Tampa? Salute. Notice to Queen comments are gone. That could be Google. I don't know. It could be Google. Or is it? Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm gonna stay intact. Okay. Let's go back. That's prehistoric. Let's go to Egypt 1. Background of the terrorists, we discussed that. I'm just gonna skim through. They were white. That's what they try to say. That's what they try to tell you. Arcadia, Babylonian, and Arabia. Okay. I'm gonna show you the pictures and get to the truth. Grimaldi, short race, perhaps ancestors of modern Bushmen, which once inhabited the French Riviera, restored according to the directions of Professor Routab, Brussels by M. Masrur, and Campi Compelman, yeah, of course, ancestors of European nations restored according to the directions of Professor Routab of Brussels. Okay. Nakada III. In the next period, known as the Nakada III, Egypt has by now been split into many administrative territorial divisions known as nomes or nomads. Each nome has its own sacred animal or animal plant that became the totem or emblem of the nome, of that nome. This emblem was usually depicted on the pottery of each nome. It is also at this time that we see Egypt referred to as Upper and Lower Egypt, with 20 nomes in Lower Egypt and 22 in Upper Egypt. Each nome had its own ruler, but perhaps with an overall ruler. It is not known what the original political makeup was, how many times, if any, there was a unity and then they break up. There were 13 or sole rulers in Upper Egypt, of which only that a few have been identified, though these are by no means certain. Horus, crocodile; Horus, Hathor or Hathor; Horus Arihar; Horus Ka; Horus scorpion; Horus Narmar, bellyful catfish. Now, I do know Narmar. I think he was like the original pharaoh. They'll tell you about Narmar, but I didn't know they had crocodile, Hathor, Ivory Har, Ka, and Scorpion, or the Scorpion King. Yeah, these are pre-Egyptians, pharaohs and stuff. But I do know the Narmar guy. Yeah, he's popular. Yeah. King Scorpion, the rulers who named themselves after the animals were probably attempted to identify themselves. And that's it. And we're gonna get into it. Okay, the rulers who named themselves after animals were probably attempted to identify themselves with their divinity that their religion associated with these animals. The rulers became the personification of the name animal god, as later on the pharaohs were known as the son of Ra or son of some other god. In Upper Egypt, these rulers wore the white crown of Upper Egypt, were depicted as superhuman figures, giants who towered above mortal men. They were also depicted as being warlike. Scorpions, mace head hints at the nature of these Upper Egyptian rulers. And this mace-faced scorpion is apparently performing a ceremonial using a hoe. Oh God, he used hoe. Ooh, wow. They graphic in this little reading. Okay. Perhaps he is opening the irrigation dikes to being flooded these fields, or perhaps he is cutting the first furrow for a temple, or perhaps even a city that is to be built. Even today's remove the first shovel full of dirt in a foundation ritual. It's kingly prerogative, kingly prerogative. Okay. Decorated the frieze around the remaining top of the mace face has a lop-winged birds hanging by their necks. From the vertical standards in the hieroglyphics, these wrecks have been interpreted to represent to the common people of Egypt, and these friezes seem to indicate that they were conquered by King Scorpion. However, some authorities have interpreted that wrecked symbol is only later representing the Egyptian population, whereas people in early pre-dynastic history, the wrecks referred to the foreigners or non-Egyptian instead. Thus, the Scorpion mace head, Narmar Plati may represent the respective rulers having successfully defeated the foreigners. They was expected by invaders. Okay. So they got the pottery. And this is a statue of King Scorpion, they say. Thought this to be the statue of King Scorpion. Yeah, okay. Although the 4-chamber tomb in the Abydos designated as a B50 has been speculated as being Scorpion's burial place, but no conclusive evidence of Scorpion's existence has yet be found at the Abydos, where the tombs were several First Dynasty kings. Even some preceding dynasty 0. Kings have been found. Some scholars are not even sure the scorpion actually existed. Perhaps scorpion was a title. Perhaps the scorpion sign did not significantly person's name at all. Wow. Speculating further, may have come from the royal house of Hierocanopolis or hieroglyphs rather than from the Thenis, the origin city of Theonite dynasty, from when hence came his later successor Narmer the catfish. Okay, king, but then again, perhaps the Thenis and Hierocanopolis each were the centers of the river of chiefdoms, and when the scorpion reigned and ended this, Thenis assumed an uncontested position as sovereign of Egypt. But then there was the issue of whether Narmer is the same king as Menes, or if they were separate kings. But the point is, none of these pre-dynastic stuff is certain. The Lower Egypt is more commercial system ran the state. There's the center of the wealth were ruled over by important families or groups in each town, rather than by a single king. Mahdi, Butu, and Tel Faraka, modern names for these sites, were the large towns of the state, with the capital probably at Butu. By the Naqada III period, Butu's pottery was 99% from Upper Egypt and was so thought to have been Naqada St by that time. The rulers of Lower Egypt, they wore the red crowns. The red crown may have been taken from the Patamon stone. Okay, so they got the names for it. This is a close-up of it, of the people. And the ruler's name is Sakwa Tai Tashinapi Washaja Myak. Okay, there's not much known about these rulers other than their names. So believe that there was never one ruler over Lower Egypt in pre-dynastic times because of the lack of evidence of such rulers. Dynasty 1, Pharaoh, Narmer, and Menes. Here we go. This is Narmer, or Narmi, or Menes, or what you want to call him, this Pharaoh. And then you got him again. Yeah, some people call him the Scorpion King. That's what I remember. So, according to the Stele of Pharaoh Narmer, see below, it was he who managed to defeat the king of Lower Egypt and take over the state. The famous Narmer Platier shows him on one side wearing the white crown of Upper Egypt and on the other side wearing the red crown of Lower Egypt. It also shows the hawk emblem of Horus, the Upper Egyptian god of Nekhman, dominating the symbol of Lower Egypt. The papyrus plant from this. Narmer is believed to have unified Egypt. However, Manetho attributes the unification of Egypt, the fighter Menes. It is he who has been listed the first pharaoh of the first dynasty by Manetho, but Menes and Narmer may be one and the same man. Yeah, that's what it shows right here. Okay, could be one and the same man. But Menes was from Thenis in the south of the Upper Egypt, but he built his capital at Memphis. Yeah, Memphis is a popular place in Egypt. Now I think over the years it became Alexandria and now Cairo. Yeah, it's been moving around. Egypt's a mess. Their culture is a mess. I'll tell you that. It's hard to, in any event, there is general agreement that Narmer would have been credited as a unifier of the Egyptian at the hands of the first pharaoh in the first dynasty, whether or not this is the first unification of Egypt and known during the early dynastic period. But the king, ancient Egypt, already had much of the trappings of the regalia familiar from the later times, including the double crowns of upper lower part of Egypt, various scepters. These crowns, scepters, often emulates offer and representing the power of the protection there set of King Pharales. Everyone else and conveyed his authority both secular and religious. Yeah, it's Narmer and it's played. This is King Narmer, right up in here. He was killing dudes, man. God damn. Very fluid as the new accessions, previously known kings, queens discovered, such as Newfound, Sekros, and Cartouche. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to give y'all another link to this. I'm going to copy it. Egypt is a long read. It's very a long read. It's a very long read. I know. Damn, I got 12 likes already. God damn. Doing great. Yeah. Google, honey. Shit. It's only an hour. Damn, it's a long stream. Okay. I'm gonna step away for a minute and we're gonna get to the next part. So we're gonna get this part right here. This is gonna be a long stream, so bear with me. I'll be back. I'm gonna be on mute. Hold on. All right, here we go. I know people is waiting. All right. They're trying to say weak signal. I cannot stand this internet stuff. Hold on. I don't know what this weak signal is talking about. We're not gonna worry about the formalities. Yeah, internet's weak. I already know what time it is. Okay. I don't like this at all. I don't have to move it down. Thank you. Okay. Let me try this again because it's going. Okay. Let me try this again. Third is the second Egypt. Yeah. Let me try it. Yeah. Tired of looking at that. Okay. Religion, everyday life. Egypt 2. As mentioned before, the religion of Neolithic, late Stone Age. Pre-dynastic Egypt appears to have been animalistic nature worship, where each village or town had its own spirit, deity in the form of an animal, bird, reptile, tree, plant, or object. This spirit was also in something that played prominent part of the life of the people, and the spirits fell into the general categories and those which were friendly, helpful, such as cattle, and those that were menacing, powerful, such as bulls, crocodiles, and snakes. In both cases, the favor of the spirit has been solicit with the set of formula of words. Action in the spirits also had the houses built for them, and offerings is made to them. As the spirits evolve into the gods, the deity that have its own special type of house built. A temple of this building would then needed a full-time staff to attend to the gods' wants and needs, such as performing the proper rituals, making the proper offerings, etc. And also to the administrate to the gods' blessings back to the people. Priests, since the king's own divinity was legitimized by the priesthood. It was also very necessary to ensure that the temple of the priesthood was properly provided for. So the additions to the offerings from the people, the temple was given large land grants and to ensure a source of income. Then, of course, the god would need a wife, high priestess. Here is with the priest, and there was a hierarchy from high priestess herself and the lowest priestess, and who performed house and of course, and often serve as temple prostitutes. In the return of these services, the god was used to protect in the people's ensuring fertility. Well-being and the gods were met, and the deity might be on down the wrath of the community in form of plague, famine, or some such natural disaster. The insignia or standoff of a known clearly showed which god protected the town. As the town gained prominence, so did the town and the gods. I don't know why it says weak signal. Oh man. I don't like this internet at all. I have to give me a box or something. Cause yeah, man. Here we go. There we go. There we go. Thank you. I was messing up for a minute. I was mad for a minute. Weak signal. The fuck? Okay. Providence, plague, famine, towards God's town. Religion was interwoven not only into the pharaoh's power, but into the life itself. It was the deity of the town who people would turn into in order to prevent the everyday hazards of living. And they used the magic spells, charms, folklore, and amulets to appeal to the deity for protection against hazards and to intercede on their behalf of anything from the Nile flooding and sowing the seeds, harvesting crops, and projection from poisonous snakes and safe childbirth. Yeah, so this is the Egyptian. This is number 2. You know, the couples and things like that. You know, the clothing and all this stuff. I don't have to get into the stuff because I read. It's been an hour. Let me see what I got you in the chat. I'm still on Wi-Fi. It's good now. I don't need no Ethernet cable. I'm good straight because I have an internet-based laptop. So let's see. Let me give y'all this one. Let's see. Because I know this is a long one. I'm gonna paste this down. Paste it. Yeah. Let's see. That's more of it. Egypt's got a lot. It's got a lot of history. I read the third one. And this is where you get, yeah, Egypt's got a lot. I might do another series on Egypt on the third one because it's gonna be long. Let's get to another black civilization. Let's go to Samaria. Modern Iraq, right? Same person again. The prehistorics they add We're going to talk about Eastern Europe and again, Samaria, modern Turkey, Hatti people, things like that. They show you they were white. That's first Sumerian. Okay. Let's go into Samaria culture. We already did Egypt, so we'll give you a piece of this. I might have to do a Sumerian series since we're going to do part 1 on this subject together, and we're going to talk about it. The kingship inherit a class system comprised of tiers of Amulum, Mishkin, and slaves. The Amulum were the top of the rung of the class system. Nobles, government officials, professional soldiers, and priests were found in this class. Next were the Mushkinu, the middle class of the Sumerian society. These were shopkeepers, farmers, merchants, and laborers. Slavery was an integral part of the life in Sumer. Slaves were the lowest in the class system. A person could find themselves as a slave for several reasons, such as a prisoner of war, people unable to pay their debts, or people born into slavery. Humans could sell their wives into slavery. Parents could sell their children into slavery. However, slaves did hold a few rights. Let's read it. They could borrow money and own property, engage in trade, serve as witness in a legal matter, even buy their freedom. Slaves who purchased their freedom or who were freed by their owner could not be forced back into slavery, but the class did not appear to the whole any particular negative social stigma. The Sumerian citizens, they were held in the belief persons who found themselves slaves did this alt misfortune rather than found their own. The Sumer kingship. I'm gonna give this to you in the chat. This is the final one I'm gonna read, and I'm gonna end it right here because I'm gonna stick to this. I will do Egypt. I'm gonna do a series of Egypt again, and the rest, and then I'm gonna do the rest of Sumer, and I'm gonna give y'all some feedback. Got 46 playback. God damn, doing good over here. I know Thai City's on fire right now. So yeah, it's an hour stream, and see who wants to come up. So I'm gonna pin the link if y'all come up, because I done read enough. It's about 9 something right here. Copy. I'm gonna pin it just in case if people come up. If not, paste. If y'all want to discuss it. We're gonna just do it right now. I'm just gonna pin it right now. I'm not gonna get into it that much. Let's go to Sumer. Ancient Sumerian civic structure was comprised of larger freemen who met in concert to govern themselves. The citizens initially held power. Decisions were made in an assembly in times of need, such as war. A Lugal bigman was elected only for the duration of that threat. Over time, however, this position became prominent and hereditary, a kingship, father to son. Sumerian society and prosperity was based on agriculture and commerce. Fields irrigated by man-made canals produced an assortment of crops. The king and the temple of the city's patron god, thus and the priests, own much of the land, but it was very common for the average man to own property. There was a large disparity between the rich and the poor, but even the poor could own their own land and livestock. Coins were not used. Commerce was accomplished through barter or by payments of the silver and gold purchase of even the smallest things were almost always confirmed in writing. In family life, monogamy was the normal practice. Although concubines were tolerated, family elders often arranged marriages. Part of the marriage's ceremony consists of the presentation of the sealed tablet in which the guidelines for the marriage, and later, if necessary, divorce were laid out. Marriage was a complex institution regulated by many laws. Children had no legal rights. Their parents, simply by publicly disowning them, and could have them banished from the community. In a likelihood, there was an age restriction for this practice. Normally, however, children were loved and cared for, and adoption was very common. But if necessary, children could have also be disowned and sold into slavery to repay a debt. That is some fucked up shit. That's the Sumerian people. That's their culture, man. We'll see who's not. I know people's in the. Okay, so y'all want me to read the rest of this? All right. So yeah, this is what you got here. We're gonna read this off. Sumerian religion had its roots in the worship of nature, such as the wind and water and animals. The ancient sages of Sumer found it necessary to bring order to that which they did not understand, and to this end, they came to the natural conclusion that the greater forces was at work. The forces of nature were originally worshipped as entities unto themselves. However, unto themselves. However, over time, the humans became associated with these forces, gods in human form, were seen as having control over the nature. As in Egypt, figures with human bodies and animal heads are common. Yeah, ancient Sumer adopted Egyptian culture because it was popular back then, you know, like you see in cultures. Fertility figure, 4000 BCE, 6000, 4000 BCE, fertility culture in Sumer. These cultures. Sumerian theologians believed that every intricacy of cosmos was controlled by divine, immortal things, that the cosmos inherently the established rules. The world believed was known as the netherworld. Sumerians believed the souls of the dead. Yeah, I got into that. All this stuff. Sumerian king, god, headdress, four-headed god. Yeah, this is Sumerian culture. Yeah, they get into that stuff. Okay, let's get into education. The temple served several purposes, and the most importantly, worship, education. Each temple had education center, which is to learn mathematics, scribing, writing. Mathematics taught, including simpler skills such as additions of multiplication, but also went on through the most complex, such as geometry and square roots. So, scribing students would spend years in study learning the interocracies of grammar and thousands of cuneiform symbols. But the Sumerian teachers were known as Anumimi, something like that. And that's what they were. So these are Sumerian people. Scribe Kruli, statue of, I would say, Lindu, Sumerian scribe to 24 BCE, Sumerian worshiper. And here's the writing. They had the tablets, royal inscription of Gisha Kidu of Umma, 2400 BCE, Assyrian copy of the flood tablet. Yeah, Sumerian tablet with the fable. Cylinder seals or seals, another Sumerian invention. They were the first used to roll one's signature into a wet clay of tablet, thus recording the commercial transaction, or assert inscription over the cylinder seals evolved so they can reproduce pictorial scenes such as a banquets. Thousands of these tablet seals have been found. Evacuated temples and compounds. Seal Abani Sharum, the scribe king of Sharkalali, Shari son, Narum Sin, 250 BCE. That's the Sumerian people and their little thing. Sumerian technology. I mentioned this before in my old previous. So yeah, this is Sumerian. I'm gonna get in touch with this. I'll do a part 2 of Sumerian, a whole series for itself. Egypt, and this is my take on it. I will do the Eastern Europe. I'll do this and cover this. This and these two are whole nother subjects. I'll probably put this in one. I'll add a description. I'll add China and Anatolia. I might have to change the title of that stream. So yeah, if y'all want to come up, this is what I'm just gonna do, is just let this be up, and I won't keep this up anyway. He said very interesting. Yeah, it's very interesting. This website came from a Black scholar, so I just came with it and just knock it out for you. So for me, I'm just gonna do this for a minute. Yeah. So, and that's it. I know people don't want to come up, but that's cool. But yeah, man, it's pretty interesting. I know it's cool and everything, but I'm here. Have any questions? Because I know everybody's live streaming tonight. I'm just dropping history for you. I'm not even tripping off this right now. And that's just a start. I'm gonna go like this for a minute. Hold on. I know it's very interesting, but why people's tripping? My channel. What's the okay? Because I know people is tired of looking at the shares and things like that nature. Yeah, I'll say what's up. And yeah, I post this stream in the community tab if people want to come up. Yeah, man, this is all I have, but this is like an hour, 28 minutes. But yeah, any questions in the chat? We gladly appreciate it. I just want to do this subject because based off my content I did in the past, so for some years, and I want to add Egypt and Samaria first. So I'll do a part 2 of this, another stream, so I can finish the rest because I know it's a long one. But there's also Elam. I'll do a whole series on Elam, Canaan. We're gonna do one with Canaan, That's it. So yeah, we're gonna do a lot of the Eastern cultures. I'll do a couple of streams on those. I think I did one already, and we'll do a whole thing. See, they updated, right? And we're gonna stick with it. And yeah, this website is gonna give me some numbers, all Mac and all that. I know they floating around. A lot of people say they ain't supposed to be teaching this stuff. Well, shit, I'm teaching it for you. So yeah. So yeah, this is like a part one, but this is the beginning. And I'll do a part two of it, or series two. I won't call it series two. I won't call it I won't say Black Civilizations. I'll say two. I won't do that. So yeah, you know, if anybody want to come up, it's cool. I mean, the link's pinned and everything. So I'm here. We could talk about it, we discussed it, but you know, I know it's an hour, but everybody's doing their thing. So yeah. For me, I'm just here. So that's here for me, but you know, I'm gonna stop the screen share. But yeah. Oh, they updated StreamYards. Okay. Wow. Hang on pretty cool. Yeah, that's all I have. But you know, if y'all want to check the whole link out, but you know, but I'll give you something to look at. I'm gonna put this in the live chat. Just get a feel what I'm talking about. What I'm gonna do some more content on, and I'm gonna let y'all look at it and see for yourselves. You know, like I'm not gonna try to press y'all into it, and that's it. And yeah, I just put that in the chat for y'all. But yeah, let's look at the comments section. Might do this again. Hold on. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Oh, it's improved. Okay. They fixed it. Okay. I don't like this StreamYard. They upgraded it. Yeah, it's my internet, and sometimes it can be laggy sometimes, but be janky as hell. Okay. Let's read off the comments. She said the gypsies probably came in various shades of light brown, including dark and light. Yeah, they did. She said, I don't believe it. She didn't believe it at first. She probably gave me a dislike. This mic, okay, sir is the man, the knowledge. Okay, appreciate it, bro. Wait your mind. Yeah, I'm gonna talk to you for a minute, and we're gonna do this right now. I know he's Greek. Okay, braided hair is usually for people who code, because even a lot of Greek statues have cornrows falling there. In that, a lot of Greek people have cold. Yeah, I talk about that. I mean, I ain't gonna get in depth because I think I talked about the Mediterranean already. A lot of people look people of the sun. Yeah, Egypt is hard for me because that's a tough subject. He said he's Greek. He talking about Shaka, Queen of the South. Yeah, man. You had me stumbled. Okay. Maybe Cyril with new nose. Yeah. Okay. Agent Anderson. Oh, oh Lord. Are they talking about Ed? I went to school with a Greek girl who has hair nappier than mine. I just stared. Yeah, Miriam. Okay. I was reading the comments. I'm catching up on the comments. Sexy Red. Don't like when they came for inbred. Oh God, what are you doing on my screen? Lesson. Yeah, it's a lesson. But yeah. She said, look at the years. The previous, what I just said, I noticed that 2 point. Our comments is gone all day on their phones. Yeah, shouts out to those that came. But you know, I ain't gonna shut this down. But yeah, this is what I was talking about. And you know, that's why I was getting into. So yeah, if y'all want to come up and discuss, you know, if not, that's cool. But you know, but I'll be back on set aside of some things, but you know, and I'm just saying, like, it's good. And hey. But yeah, but I'll be discussing them series so real soon. So just give me a second, or I'll say about 30 seconds. I'll be back. Hold on. All right. I'm here. Let me check my reverb. Hold on. Yeah. So as what I was saying, like, you know, when you get to these type of topics, they get so redundant and things like that nature. So, you know, enough about me. And that's what I'm gonna do. But you know, I might have to make a part two. Hold on for a minute. Cause I didn't realize it was gonna be that long. That's cool for the one dislike, but that's okay. You think I care? I don't care. I don't care, people. So I got something during the week. Since I ain't got nothing on the weekend, um, World Black Civilizations, Eastern Europe on the 14th. On create me another one. On create me I will say Black Civ 2 Rest of Egypt. It's gonna be on the and Sumer. Yeah. And Sumer equals, I'm going to do it right now and schedule it. Yeah, they upgraded StreamYards, man. Okay, put this on here, put this on there, apply. Schedule the time, no. I'll say on the 20th. I know people. Pins on 3. Nope. Do 8:25. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. 8:25. See what we're gonna talk about. We're gonna edit. We're gonna edit something real quick. Hold on. Eastern Europe and Asia. I'll say China. We'll say this: China and Anatolia. We're gonna do that. Let's see, 15. That's a lot of content. Okay, we're going to go. That's a stream that we did. Okay, so we're here. Let's see. Yeah. So we're gonna do like on the 14th. Like I said, I restructured my stream. We're gonna talk about Eastern Europe, and we're gonna talk about China 1 and 2, and Anatolia 1 and 2 and 3, and that's gonna be a long one. That's gonna be a super long one. We'll get in the meat of it. Tonight I just want to discuss this. I did a part 2 of this, and this is gonna be another one, but ain't much but Black civilization. So I don't know where we can find another one. The ancient Black, so that's the closest we're gonna get. Pre-Americans, Thailand. Oh, they got all of it. So yeah, I done gave you the links in the chat. So, you know, y'all good on that for a week. You need the meat of it. So yeah, I just showed you half of Egypt. I'm gonna do a part 2 of probably the previous. And then I'm gonna show you probably, I will say, what's the one that we talked about? Samaria or Sumer. We're gonna get into that. And yeah, man. That's just how it is. So we know what time it is. And people is on fire right now. Getting their ass and views going. But yeah, man. They said do's and don'ts. I ain't on that. I ain't talking about relationships. I'll talk about this weekend. But the civilizations I'll talk next week, probably on the Tuesday. I'm gonna break it all down. And after that, I'm just gonna be consistent for the rest of the, the time. I'll talk about more of this historical stuff. I'll get into it. But yeah, man. As y'all can see, but yeah, I'm gonna knock this down. So, and that's good. I'm here. And I know people is concurring and all that. So yeah, Tampa was here. Third World was here. Queen was here. Sexy Red was here. Rashawn's here. I know they tired. Let's see. Queen is here. News here. So yeah, I pinned the link in the chat if y'all want to come up. So, I'm just gonna look at it for what it is. Feel free. But I know if y'all want me to post it again, that's cool. That's the last call. That's it. I'm gonna post. So yeah. If y'all want to come up or disagree with the points, I'll go back to them, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm here. So I know people, it's live streaming right now. So, that's the thing. And yeah. So, I think it's like an hour. I think 45 minutes. I know people ain't gonna come up right away, but I mean, it's the last call if y'all want me to done, and that's it. So I understand people ain't got time to come up. But yeah, I put the links in the chat. I think, which one's the links? Realhistory.com. Let's see. I put the other one with ancient Sumer, Iraq. This one, Egypt. Check those out. Let's see here for a minute. Yeah, and we are here. Put you to prehistoric. So we're great. So shouts out to everyone that came through. Yeah, this is like a historical piece. I know people don't want to come up, but that's okay. I know I feel free to. I post 2 links and that's cool, but I know people ain't got time to talk, but that's okay. I thought I was gonna make it short, but yeah. And that's all I got. So shouts out to Tampa, Queen, New, should I say Sexy Red, formerly known as Renaissance Chick. Mike, thank you for coming through, man. Let's see. Oh shit. Damn. Stop right quick. Oh, slipped up. Rashawn, appreciate it. Third Ward, appreciate it. Because I know everybody's busy. It's Monday. You know how it is. Yeah, so with that, I want to say peace. Shalom.